Snow White being Snow White, she eats this poison apple. She gets into the sleep of death. All the animals and all the dwarves are sad. And you're locked into another episode of the Enliu podcast. My name is Josh, and we thank you for inviting us back into your listening ears this week. And we also hope you enjoyed the last couple of weeks with our animated roundtable special. So much fun with that. So much fun with reconnecting with some old guests that we've had on the show prior, and talking about our favorite anime series. If you want to listen to those, which we encourage you to do so, you can do so by going out to your favorite podcast platform. We're on all major ones: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, what have you. And we also have a YouTube channel if you were unaware. Anytime that we do a podcast, we do have a video component that is generally the unedited full conversation of the podcast. So we encourage you to go there and check that out as well, so you can see our lovely faces each week. But speaking of lovely faces, I am going to bring my lovely wife, Rebecca.
Hey, guys.
And you'll notice something different about Rebecca. She's wearing glasses. But they're, oh, did you just get glasses? Well, no, she usually wears contacts, but she won't have to worry about that for too much longer. Rebecca, tell them why.
Yeah, I usually wear contacts on the show because just like you can see now, there's this like glare, and I hate that. So yeah, I have decided after like 26 years of wearing glasses and contacts that I'm going to get LASIK eye surgery. So I'm really excited. That happens literally on 2 days, in just a couple of days. So I'm really excited that I'm going to do that. I'm going to be a whole new person. So yeah, that'll be really nice. Then I don't have to plan around things with my glasses, because there's a lot more planning than you would think. If you don't wear glasses or contacts, like you don't understand. There's a lot of extra thoughts that come along with having that, depending on what you're doing for the day. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Awesome. Whole new Rebecca, and you'll all get to see that next week.
That's right. Yes, next week we'll get to tell you all about
it may not look too different to you all, because it's probably the same when she doesn't have glasses, but we'll notice a difference.
Yeah, I will.
Well, it's that time of year again. Some of you it's spooky season, some of you it's fall harvest season, and for the rest of us, we don't really care. It is October, and that is when Halloween happens. Now, we've gone back and forth about Halloween. I'm pretty much good on my stance of, like, I don't mess with the demonic, the witchcraft, all that, which is embedded in all the paganism of Halloween. But we seem to be, we teeter-totter a little bit each year. So, Rebecca, where are we this year? Short and sweet of it.
So the short and sweet of it is, like you said, we've gone back and forth over the years of like completely saying nothing to do with Halloween at all, to, well, I mean, trick-or-treating's fine, dressing up. And I think we've finally landed on, at least this year, we've landed on that the trick-or-treating is fine, dressing up is okay. Like you said, don't mess with the demonic, because there's a lot of nasty, gross stuff.
Absolutely.
And making the, like, I don't know if you've seen the like meatloaf foot that's like all gross and gory, like the food that's gory food.
And they use like candy corn for the toenails.
Yes, yeah. It's just no. The best is slivered almonds.
No. Let's not talk about that anymore. But
but the point is that I don't think messing with that is is really good because that's kind of glorifying gore and
Right.
I don't know. That just seems kind of wrong. But like
Yeah.
dressing up, whatever. There's people who, cosplay all throughout the year. So why would it be okay to cosplay every other day except for, you know, Halloween?
Yeah.
That just seems kind of like, nah. And I mean, I've got a friend who has that was a Wiccan at one point, that was a witch and into witchcraft and stuff. She's a Christian now, but she's like, honestly, most of the stuff that they show on like movies and TV shows, like it's not real.
Mhm.
That's not real magic. It's just kind of like make believe. I'm like, interesting. Okay. I think you can go down a dark hole with some of that if you let it in. Always, always, always listen to Holy Spirit
Right.
and what he's telling you. If he says this is not something you need to participate in at all, then don't do it.
Yeah. It is between you and God, honestly,
Absolutely.
in the end all be all.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now that could be a lead into. Now we're going to talk about a spooky movie. No.
Depends on who you are.
Yeah.
Spooky for
Well,
feminists.
we'll get into that in just a minute.
Yeah.
Um, but we sent out a poll on our Instagram earlier this week. Well, actually last week, and we asked, "What do you want us to talk about next?" And we gave a few options, and the majority of you answered Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That's right. We're taking a trip all the way back down to Walt Disney 1937.
Wasn't Snow White the very first animated movie, full-length
Full length
feature?
feature, yep.
Okay.
Because Walt had this stuff with, Mickey Mouse shorts, Silly Symphony, all that stuff kind of leading up to Snow White.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't know the story of Snow White, I'm going to give you a basic synopsis.
Crash course version.
Otherwise, you can go and get a book at your local library. And I know that guy said library. I will say till the day I die. So Ferris won in the land. Queen gets jealous, doesn't like her, sends the huntsman after her. Oh, please don't kill me. So I can't do it. She runs off into the woods and stumbles upon a cottage where she thinks it's where children live, but it's actually little men. That's how they're referred to in the movie.
Oh yeah, they don't ever say dwarves, do
No,
they?
no, they don't. And of course, Snow White being Snow White, she's hired as their living maid. Probably doesn't get paid anything except for shelter.
I mean, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, the queen comes in a old witch lady disguise, and Snow White being Snow White, she eats this poison apple. She gets into the sleep of death. All the animals and all the dwarves are sad. Prince Charming comes, kisses her without consent, and she wakes up, and they go on to their castle in the sky.
Beautiful, beautiful, Josh.
We'll see you all next week. But no, but yeah, now Rebecca, you liked this movie a lot more than you thought you would. Now you've already seen it, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it had been a while. I generally just don't like the character of Snow White. She's kind of annoying.
Well, and
with
that's
her
kind of like what this whole episode is based around on is
that she's annoying.
no,
Oh.
the characteristics of Snow White and the allusions to different aspects of the story of Adam and Eve in the book of Genesis. But before we get on to that, Rebecca, you said something about feminists and feminism. Elaborate on that because you had some stuff to say while you were watching.
I had quite a lot to say while we were watching.
Now, keep in mind, everyone, this was made back in 1937, so the ideologies and philosophies of where a woman's place was very different.
Yeah, very, very different. Yeah, because liberation for women didn't really come around, or at least they didn't start to enter the workforce until like the 60s. The 60s were, man, it was a time of activism and rebellion. I mean, you have the civil rights movement. You've got the gay liberation movement. You've got the like women's rights. I mean, so many different things were going on at the time, in the 60s. But anyway, so back in the 30s, I had a lot of fun actually watching the movie because I was, I don't know, we just like made fun of it and called out crazy things. Um, Her little high pitched voice. I mean, everything about her, the way that she looks is just like classic what a man would want to see. And yeah, she was just, I could tell she was definitely written a character written by men, and certainly visually portrayed by men. Granted, I don't know the history and background of the making of the movie, so I guess I shouldn't comment too much on that. But um, yeah, I forget what I was going to say, honestly. I went off on a tangent and now I've forgotten. But yeah, I'm surprised at myself that I'm much more of a feminist than I thought I was. And that's really been this year. That's been a growth point this year for me. Just kind of like waking up, becoming aware of the different standards that men have for women and women have for women and society has for other people. And it's a mess. It's a lot of a mess. But yeah, I mean, essentially when Snow White flees the city, which by the way, I mean, I think it's kind of funny that the queen is like, what can Snow White do? Ah, have her go out and pick flowers. Because I guess that's all she's good for, picking flowers. And, and so she gets all dressed up and looks nice and goes out to pick flowers until the huntsman tries to murder her, which he doesn't. So she runs away to the cottage, and there she thinks, oh, I can help these little children clean things, even though they're dwarfs.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just seemed like the way that it was portrayed was just like that's the only thing that she could do or that she could give. I mean, looking back on it, like I guess it kind of makes sense that yeah, she didn't have a penny to her name. She didn't have anything. So what could she give? Maybe if she cleaned and cooked for them, then they would let her stay. So maybe I was a little too harsh on the movie when we were watching it. But um that's my quick take.
Well, that leads right into the song Whistle While You Work when she arrives at the cottage and has befriended the woodland creatures. Whistle While You Work, you would think when you see Snow White, she's already determined, I'm going to cook and clean. She cooks, but as far as cleaning, she does almost nothing.
She does
The
a
animals do all
little
the
bit.
work.
That is true.
They
The
do
animals do
they get
most of
rid
the
of the
work.
cobwebs. They do the laundry. They most of the sweeping, and she sweeps like a few little things. But
Yeah, I guess she cooks at some point in there because there is a pot of stew
right,
when the dwarves come home.
they do.
Mhm.
Now the character of Snow White is likened to the character of Eve, because Eve was naive, Eve was gullible.
I have a
Snow,
feeling though, like I could be friends with Eve. There's not a lot about her in the Bible, but I think we could be friends. I'm not sure I would want to be friends with Snow White, if I'm being honest.
yeah, Eve was probably more tolerable than Snow White.
Oh, because she's just, oh man, I don't know. Because she's just like the whole wishing well and I don't know. Yeah. She's the little high pitched voice. It's just kind of
I
annoying.
mean, it is annoying after a while. I'll give
Her
you
little
that.
nasally singing. I'm wishing for the one I love. And yeah,
Yeah, and I never got that scene
the
like
wishing
the
well.
well, yeah, that, but then the prince is like, "Hey, your wish came true," and what do? You run away. You
She
run
did.
like a ninny. You run away.
Yeah, she's like, oh no. Well, think about that though, Josh. Like how many times have you met someone that you're like, oh gosh, when you actually meet them, you're like, ooh, this is scary. I don't do I really is it okay to like them? So I guess I can see that.
No, I was never scared. Anytime I met somebody, I was like, "All right, we do this."
You were never scared to ask a girl out.
Oh, ask out. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, in that case,
I
yes.
thought you were like, actually meeting them at like the date or something.
No, no. But you were never nervous?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was nervous, but I became more confident. And when I was more confident, I just, hey, you want to go out? If it was yes, most times it was.
Oh,
But if it was a no, I was like, hey, that's fine.
apparently Josh got game.
I did have game.
But now you don't need it, so that's good.
Nope. But getting on to more of the illusions. So we have Snow White, who
You
is
keep saying illusions. I don't think that's the right word.
like a, a, so
The allegories?
the allegories, yeah.
Maybe?
So the allegories
There's another
between
word,
Snow
but
White and the Seven Dwarfs to the book of in the story of Genesis.
Yes.
So we have Snow White, Eve, obviously, with the character traits. We also have the evil queen, which is Satan. We have the magic mirror, which I thought I could deem as a little Satan, like he's just a minion for,
He's just kind of neutral.
yeah.
Well, I mean, the queen even like calls him out when she's doing her come magic mirror, tell me the truth. She calls him a slave.
Yeah, and that's one thing I never noticed before.
Yeah, I didn't notice until this time either. I thought that was really, really interesting.
The seven dwarves, I thought I could be like the seven virtues, but not really.
Sneezy.
Yeah.
Sneezy's a virtue.
No, I said I thought. I
Yeah,
didn't say
he's not.
no. We can just call them again. They're not really in the. They're not really mentioned in really in the Bible or the Book of Genesis. Guardian angels, maybe.
I mean seven is the perfect
Yeah,
number.
yes.
So, I mean maybe it's like the perfection of God who's helping Eve along and be their companions.
Right, right.
Um
And then the Prince Christ, we could make that correlation, or
Absolutely.
or Holy Spirit, one of the two.
Yeah, I think for sure because the prince at the end of the movie he comes and gives life to Snow
Yeah,
White.
yeah.
So it's like we are dead
Right.
without Christ when
Yeah,
we've ingested sin into our lives,
correct.
basically.
Yeah, because when we get to that scene near the end where nobody today would believe this, so Queen turns into old Granny. She goes up to Snow White and she's like, "Oh, what you got there? Gooseberry pie?" It's like, "No, it's apple pie that makes the men's mouth water."
Yeah, she's making the pie for Grumpy too.
Yeah. Well, she's sweet on Grumpy.
As she is.
Um, but she's like, "Oh, really?" So yeah, I've got all these apples here, and well, can I come in? And the woodland creatures like attack her, and Snow White has sympathy on her, and she's like, "Won't you have one? This is no ordinary apple. This is a wishing apple." BS. No, no.
It's a wishing apple.
But again, just like the serpent in the book of Genesis, did God really say that? Did he really say if you eat of this tree, you will surely die? Well, when God says surely, it doesn't mean might. It doesn't mean coulda, woulda. It means surely.
Means you will.
Yes.
Yeah, and what Eve didn't realize is that God was talking about a spiritual death,
Right. Not a
not a physical
physical.
death.
Yeah.
Well, and it was like it's kind of like ignorance is bliss
Yeah.
in a way, is what they were, both Adam and Eve were living in, because they didn't know that there was good and evil in the
Right.
world. And once they tasted of the fruit of the tree, which probably wasn't an apple, it was probably like I think a fig or a permission or something like that. But
What's the permission?
a permission is it's like a pear, I think. A permission. Either that or it's like closer to passion fruit.
Okay.
Something like that. I'd have to like, no, apricots. I'm sorry. Permissions are like apricots. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they grow on trees. Anyway.
Anyway.
So what was I even saying? That when they ate it, they didn't know, when they ate it, they became aware of good and
Right.
evil.
Yes.
And
they were ashamed of their nakedness, and so they
yeah.
got clothes out of leaves or burlap sacks or whatever.
Burlap sacks? You think they had time to make burlap sacks?
They got leads.
Burlap sacks weren't invented until way later.
I don't know.
The Bible says fig leaves.
Fig leaves, okay.
Specifically.
Well, you're our resident biblical expert.
And I don't know about expert, but it did say fig leaves in there. So that's what they clothed themselves with. Either that, or was it fig leaves, or was it? Yeah, I think it was not animal skins. Because I don't think at that point they had killed animals. There's a lot of people that believe that in the Garden of Eden, they were
it's partly
vegetarians or
and
vegans.
harmonious. And I'm not one that subscribes to that idea or doctrine.
Why?
Well, number one, not vegan. Number two, don't want to be. Number three, don't ask.
I mean, just because that's how it was then doesn't mean that
I imagine the
has to be that way now.
wedding feast in heaven is going to be a smorgasbord.
Lots of meat.
Meat and
are they going to have pork there? You think?
It's not kosher.
I know. That's why I'm asking.
So maybe not that, but maybe ice cream. Maybe they'll have that
ice cream. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so it was a spiritual death, again, not a physical, and it came with consequences. But God did give them, a second chance, and that's what we see in the end of the movie. Is Prince Charming comes up to Snow White, gives her the breath of life. She's reborn in a way. She's now brought that. She's a new creation, you can say.
Yeah. Yeah, and God always had that plan. Mm-hmm. He made us with free will.
Right.
Because what is love without free will?
Yes.
It's not real love. And he knew that we were probably going to eat of that tree.
Yeah.
He
knew that. Nothing takes God by surprise.
Right. And so he had a plan. He was like, all right, I'm going to make these people, they're going to betray me.
Right.
Which still hurts, I'm sure. And it's going to sever that connection that they have. Because God was walking with them in the afternoon, just like hanging out, walking with them. Was that the pre-incarnated Christ? I forget what the official term is, but like Christ before he was born into the world.
Yes.
Was that how that happened? We don't know, but I mean, they had a perfect relationship, and then they ate of the knowledge of from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Yes.
And they all of a sudden had to be cast out. But God was like, I've got a plan though. After a long time, it was like 3,000 years or something. maybe more than that. I don't remember. Um, they that he would bring Jesus into the world, that he would send his son, his body into the world to be flesh, so that we could know the Father, that we could know him and be saved, and to build that bridge again for that relationship. And yeah, that's what the prince does. He he found he found us and brought us back to life because we were dead inside.
He did. But we are alive again.
Yeah. Or as we the Evanescence song. Wake me up inside.
Oh, and it reminded me of the bonus track on Skidlet, which is Dead Inside.
Oh yeah, did not go that direction in my brain.
Now, another thing that you can make an argument for is one of my favorite scenes in this movie, just because I personally think it's funny. And we'll play a little bit of it here and we'll get some commentary. Is the hand washing scene, because they're bad liars and they said that they washed their hands recently. The dwarves did. And they're like, well, show me. And they are called out by Snow White. Recently, yes, recently.
Last year? I don't know.
Yeah. I like how Doc is like so jumbled up in his like wording. It's like, hey, ask her where who she, we know who we are. Ask her what she's doing here and who she is. Yeah. Who, what are you and who are you doing? I mean, who are you, my dear? Okay, so this is, I read somewhere that this could be a allegory for baptism. See what you guys think.
Now, man. How hard do you scrub?
So this is when they're going to, wash their hands, and it's like a big ordeal for them.
Here we go. Step up to the tub. Okay, no disgrace. Just pull up your sleeves and get them in place. Then scoop up the water and rub it on your face and go.
That's how you wash your hands and how you wash your face.
Don't try to bluff. Work up a leather.
Also, wow, those suds got on there really quick.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more scrubbing.
Oh, it does.
You douse and you sauce.
So what is this for? This is
this is like an allegory they said to like baptism.
When you're done, but you gotta admit it's good.
And I mean, maybe you're like cleaning off, like you're being washed of your sins.
Bunch of old nanny-goats, you make me sick going.
Grumpy's very against it. But yeah, it's just like over the top. Like if you needed commentary or an instructional on how to wash your hands or face,
next thing you know, she'll be tying
their hair to ribbons and
smelling you up with that stuff called
perfume. Yeah, that's right. Good sound, Grumpy. But yeah, that's been said to be like an allegory for baptism. Tell us what you guys think.
I think that's a bit of a stretch, personally. Yeah. I mean, I see where people are coming from when they say that, but yeah, I think a bit of a stretch there.
Yeah. And maybe I just wanted to play it because I like that scene so much.
Maybe.
There's a lot more to it, which is also funny. You guys make sure to watch it. Maybe you have the old VHS copy of it, or DVD even, or Disney Plus, God forbid. But I've always liked different aspects of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Last year for no, not Crimestilder, we did it we did it the year before, if you guys remember. We did Happily Never After and we did Happily Ever After. Happily Ever After was like the Dollar Tree version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yes.
And it was
the Dwarfettes,
well, it was like a sequel, And it's like, oh, we're their cousin, the dwarf elves. Is I'm sure you are.
Yep. Yep.
And the prince is like turned into like this creature, and the evil villain is the brother of the queen. Um, and he's like, "You killed my sister." But yeah, you
What
can
was
probably
the one that we watched where there were like evil little goblins that were? Was that one?
goblins.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Wasn't.
What was it? There was some song that was like, "I'm bad."
Oh no, that's not
That's-
goblins. That's the bat and the bird. He's like the bad song. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I watched that, and yeah, it wasn't part of Cringe Tilder. It was like half of that was like cringy Tilder.
Very cringy.
Yeah,
Well, Cringetober was all about
finding the well, it was
it
the
was
worst of
it was
Christian animated
Jesus,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, well, except for the last one, because
That's
there were, I mean, there was a lot of that out there that we didn't want to suffer anymore, so we just
It was a
chose
lot of
something
suffering.
that wasn't Christian but was still bad.
Man. Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of suffering last year. Ugh, I'm glad we're not doing that again.
Yeah, I did not want to do that this year.
No.
There is a lot to choose from, but
Every once in a while,
Yeah.
okay, but like a whole month of
Yeah.
cringy things,
Yeah.
no.
if you had anything cringy that you would like us to watch and talk about, go ahead and DM us on our Instagram or email us at our website. We love to. We always enjoy new things, and anything to make Rebecca cringe, the better.
Ugh, no. I hate it. That's like one of my least favorite things. Yeah, we've been watching as a bit of an aside, we've been watching a show called The Mick.
And I was very surprised that you'd like this.
I know.
Because of the character, the situation, the kids that are involved.
It is all very cringy. What I like about it though is that just before I'm like, I can't take this anymore, it changes the scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Quick release.
We can take that. Yeah. So Snow White, back to Snow White.
Yes, back to Snow White. Yeah, so as I said before, I've always liked, different aspects of the story. I've never read the Grimm's fairy tale version of it. I'm sure it's a bit
Grim.
a bit darker.
A bit grim.
Yeah.
I wonder if is that why we use that word that way? Grim?
Well,
It's a
yeah.
bit grim.
Yeah.
Is that because of Grimm's fairy tales?
It may be.
That would be interesting. When were they written?
Well,
Is it like the
I don't know, but John
1800s?
Solo would, the guy on YouTube who does
Yes, he would. Yes, he would.
interesting histories behind
I
them.
like his stuff with the folk stories.
Yeah. But with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the ideologies for how women looked, and I think that set the precedent for Disney princesses throughout all the decades, because we haven't seen like a plus size Disney princess. We've gotten different ethnicities.
Not many, but yes.
Well, we just had a Colombian Disney princess. Remember? Oh, what was it?
Are you talking about Enchanted?
Encanto.
Encanto?
Yeah.
That's not a princess movie.
Well, no, I mean, but she could be some other princess.
Maybe.
Well, Mulan's not a princess either, so.
I guess that's true. She meets the emperor, though.
Yeah, by association, no.
By association. Yeah. There haven't been very many stories.
Not too many. Hopefully, maybe in the future, and Disney trying to be all inclusive, maybe we'll see it.
I mean, that would be great. I mean, everyone deserves to see someone like them on screen. in like a princess role. Every little girl deserves that, I think.
I
So
agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
I hope they do make more stories for that. Well, it'd be good.
And you thought you were through with this, and you said you didn't mention Hi Ho, and I gotta mention it. Hi Ho, Off to Work We Go is one of the best songs in the movie, I will say, because I had it on VHS as a sing along, but I skipped it every time, so maybe I didn't like it that
Yeah.
much.
It's very singable though.
It is very
Hi ho,
singable.
hi ho. It's off to
And
work we
though,
go.
okay, so they must be loaded because they mine for diamonds and rubies and
What do
all
they
these.
do with all of those things?
Well, apparently
Do they just hoard them?
they put them in a vault and they leave the
They
key on
leave-
the hook where anybody could get it.
They're not very smart.
No, and Snow White isn't very smart either.
No one's
Sorry.
very smart. Actually, no one's very smart
Yeah, no,
in this whole
yeah.
situation.
Well, maybe the magic mirror, since
That's true.
the
He's the only smart one.
I can't say that the prince.
We don't
Maybe.
know him.
Yeah, no, for all but maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah, he literally is just like, I'm your one true love. Come.
It's just so accepting. It's like, oh yeah, I'm awake. It's oh, you're here. I guess go on to live together in your castle.
In the sky, made of clouds.
Yeah. So that okay. Is she like still dead?
Maybe that's the real grim story tale, is that she did die and that he decided to like die with her and they both went up to the heaven. I don't know.
You know, I'm inclined to believe that because
I just pulled that out of thin air.
Well,
I have no idea if that's true.
The imagery, at least in the Disney version, that it kind of alludes to that, maybe.
Yeah, it does. I don't know why put clouds there. It doesn't really make a lot of sense unless it's like the ethereal. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you could draw many different conclusions from that.
I mean, for our little allegory here of Adam and Eve,
Yeah,
and Jesus, like, yeah, we do go to heaven.
Yeah, the
We-
kingdom of God.
Into the clouds, and so I think you can make that. And earlier too, Josh, you were saying that the colors that represent Snow White, you've got her hair black as ebony, skin white as snow, and lips red as a rose. Yes. Black, white, and red. What were you going to say about all of that? I think I know, but
well, it's also interesting because those are the colors that the queen uses to deceive Snow White, because she gets hair white as snow.
Oh.
Her cloak is black as raven, and her red. Yep, apple is red as a rose.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, so
that's not what I thought you were going to say.
Oh, what did you think I was going to say?
Well, I thought you were going to say like good and evil. Black and white, good and evil, and war between each other. But then the blood of Christ comes in between and saves.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That I didn't think about that. But absolutely, yeah, that's very feasible that you did that, because you do have that struggle between Snow White and the Queen. And the queen, and just trying to battle for her soul, basically. And the prince is like, I got it. But yeah, so if you haven't already figured out, you would definitely recommend this film. I know a lot of you have probably seen it, but in case you haven't ever seen it, or if
it's been a long time,
maybe give it a rewatch.
Yeah, go back, watch it again. I would say,
or at least watch the dollar store version of Happily Ever After. Never again.
No. I will not be watching that again.
I had the VHS of that for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, Maybe because I like the dad song. During that time, I was very uncultured.
Man. Well, did you want to talk about the live action movie of Snow
Well,
White coming out?
we don't know much about it. Um, I mean, we know that's coming out sometime in 2024. But aside from that, there's been like a casting decision, but then that decision was changed. I don't know what that is now.
Casting decision was changed,
Yeah, so for
but they didn't tell anybody what it was.
well, they told that the person who was going to be playing Snow White is no longer going to be playing Snow White.
Oh, really?
That's what I thought. Again, that could be a rumor. I don't know the full extent of it, because most of that is done on X, which we're not on anymore. And yeah,
whatever. It's not that important.
but what I would like to talk about is we're just going to take a couple minutes and what are our favorite things about fall?
Oh, about fall. Okay. Yes. PSLs.
Classic.
Can't go wrong.
Something else that you like personally. That's not basic.
Okay. Well then. I mean, really, I love the crispness in the air that begins to come.
Oh yeah, the weather in the morning has been top tier.
Yeah, it's just been so nice. I love more like fall winter clothing because I feel just so cozy and like wrapped up and secure.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with a good hoodie, in my opinion, for my attire.
Yeah, yeah, and the cable knit sweaters and all of that. I love it. It's one of my favorite things about fall. But also, it means that the holiday season is coming up.
Yep, and once October passes, it is like Thanksgiving and Christmas are like right together.
They're really close, yeah. Yeah, we start off even at work. Fall is intense. We end up because we're planning our like Thanksgiving meal with everyone in the office for the 17th, I think, the Friday before. Before that, then we leave, we go, then we're off for Thanksgiving.
Right.
And then like basically the next week, all of a sudden, boom, we are right into into Christmas, and we're doing Dirty Santa at work.
Yeah.
And we do Angel Tree. That's coming up here really soon, actually. We have until like the 2nd or the 1st of December to get all that stuff in. So it's a lot. There's a lot going on the next couple of months here, and they will fly by so fast. But,
they will indeed.
But I mean, fall specifically, though, I like that they start to slow down during the fall and in the winter months. And I honestly think that God did that by design. You know, I think he did that by design because summer is like spring and summer is like go, 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 go. And even, fall harvest time. But then winter comes and it's like, woo, okay, we're going to calm down and take a rest. And I tell you what, I need a rest. I think.
Well, I mean, coming up this week, you get a full week off.
Whole week? Well, for the most part.
Yeah.
But, I think I'm about ready to admit that I'm pretty close to burnout. And that's not good.
No, but you know what? You're going to have a week off. We're going to go to a pumpkin patch here in a couple of days, and it's going to be fun. And, what are your guys' favorite fall things? Tell us, DM us, leave us a comment on our Instagram, because we love fall. I mean, I love the pumpkin spice lattes. I like going to different events around that time. I love apple cider. One of my favorite things. But yeah, what are your favorite things?
Speaking of pumpkin, Josh, you saw someone on TikTok do this and thought that we should do it. Where it's like a fall themed day.
Oh yeah, fall day.
Fall date.
I had the food menu. It's mainly sugar-free sweets, but menu
Some
nonetheless.
savory.
I have a couple savory things there, yeah. But yeah, so I haven't decided on exactly when we're gonna do it, but we're gonna do it really soon.
It's gonna happen.
Because yeah, it's gonna be great. And also, tomorrow is our 6-year anniversary. And
Very
it's
exciting.
very exciting. We're gonna celebrate. Thought we would do the fall day that day, but no, we're just gonna have a nice day, and it's just celebrating being together. It's gonna be wonderful. So happy early anniversary!
Oh, thanks. Happy anniversary to you too, Josh.
Thank you so much.